Welcome back to episode 2 of Held, the new podcast concept by me, Mandy Rayner. Today, my guest is just amazing. It's Chloe McNiven. She newly set the Guinness World Record for being the first woman to complete an ultramarathon while pushing a buggy, which is spectacular in and of itself. We actually didn't talk much about that today. We went on a wee journey talking about faith, about the world order, about lots of really interesting things about self-love. And yeah, Chloe's amazing. She's a former professional dancer. She's from Govan, right here in Glasgow. And I'm excited to share our conversation with you all. So yeah, stay tuned and let's get chatting. So actually, let's start off on a really big note. How did you figure out how to stand out? Because if you tell us a bit about your background, you were a professional dancer.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
So I'm going to be so cliche with this opening sentence, but dancing did save my life.
Wow.
It was not just a hobby or something that I had done. At the time, that's obviously what I thought it was, but actually in reflection, I've realised that dance was where I expressed my emotions, it was therapy. It was where I got validation. You know, I was always wanting to be at the front, and it became this thing. It was this like funny thing, like you always want to be at the front. I'd stay on the stage. When everyone left, I'd stay on the stage, even during my college years. Crazy.
Amazing.
But now I look back and I go, what is the psychology behind that? Why did I do that? And it's because that's where I got love. That is where I received like that communication of appreciation and validation. And only now I really realise the impact that dance had on my life. And I think for a lot of people, professional dancer or just the word dancer, it's quite fluffy and not got a lot of meat unless you understand how hard it is to get in the industry. And, you know, unless you have that awareness, if you say I'm a dancer, it's like, oh, okay. And you get that kind of like feedback. But for me now, in understanding the power of movement, the power of like all that trauma that was stored in my body, every time I danced, it was a release of that emotional trauma. Mm-hmm. Like that trapped emotion was, my body was allowing it to move. So I feel like without dance, my life would be so different. So I knew from a very young age, like that's all I wanted to be. I was tunnel vision. Really important to start by saying that I wasn't very good in terms of on paper. Everything that you should be as a professional dancer or wanting to be a professional dancer was a negative for me. I was too small. I had no technique. I didn't even dance in time to music. I swear, when I went to college, I didn't understand what they meant when they said, you're not dancing in time. Because I grew up as like a freestyle dancer, so we didn't get taught timing. It was just like, and I just used to do my own thing. I've always done my own thing. What's the word they call
it? You obviously had good facilities though. Yeah. Do you have good turnout? It just took somebody to train you to...
No, I didn't even.
Oh, really?
No, I didn't. My ballet teacher used to be like, that is awful.
Sickled foot and all that, but you're like,
what's important is I had a rawness and an authenticity. I had the thing that you couldn't train. I had
like the X Factor, like that thing that's where that word comes from, the je ne sais quoi. There's something that people have that you and I saw in each other the other day.
Yes.
That some people, it's money can't buy. It's something. It's an energy that people have for sure.
And it was that energy of, this is saving my life, and that resonated with people watching. So I had this like rawness and this authenticity, which obviously carried me through. But before even going to London, I got told, do not go. Like, you will never make it.
Oh, wow.
You will never make it. You're not fit for the industry.
And that line in itself is probably what did stop me. I know you asked me that question before, and it probably is when someone tells me, I put a lot of weight on people who don't matter almost's opinion. Does that make sense?
Yep.
People I wouldn't trade places with, if they tell me with enough gusto, no, you shouldn't go for it, then I probably won't be going for it. So do you think that gave you more grit and passion and belief?
Yeah, of course. And I, when I look back to a lot of things in my life, I came up with this word like motivation. Like, no has always been my motivation. I'm not aware of it, not like, oh, they said no, I'm going to go and push and I'm going to make it. More in a psychological way of, I just didn't have any other option, to be honest. This was the only way out for me. I grew up in a council estate. I, came from a broken home. My dad was a drug addict. It was just, there was only one really path in life, or what I knew life could be, and I knew dance was a ticket out of that. So I had no option but to
make that work.
And there was nothing to lose also. So it was just like, how that made me feel was enough for me to keep going. But there was moments where I thought, I basically got told no from every dance college as well. I think really important from most big London schools. After getting told you'll never make it, I then went on the audition kind of expedition and got letters saying no. So that was just reaffirming that no harder and harder.
That was me too. Yeah, I got a no to all the big colleges in London apart from one, I think, but I didn't get a scholarship. And then you're like, well, it's not, I can't go. But I think I took those barriers a lot more literally than you have, and maybe that's what we all need to learn, is not see them as barriers, just see them as motivation.
Yeah, and it really is that. And how weird that we've both had that really same experience, but it's perception and one decision that is made different. It's not that you're more talented or you're more talented, it's your ability to see.
It's your resilience, I think, and your belief in yourself. And it's hard to say where that comes from, because I've not had the best sort of upbringing either. But then you look around at other people, and what's it they say? There's people far less talented than you doing everything that you want to do just because they decided to go for it. And it's so true. And I mean, my biggest motivation now is, since having my wee girl, I've really started throwing myself into all the things I wanted to achieve before. It's as if she was my reason to start and not give up. And you look at them and they're your motivation. And do you think your kids are a big motivation for everything that you do?
Oh, absolutely. They are. I think it's that selflessness when you remove yourself, especially us growing up in that industry of it's all about the self. Like, I am a performer. I mean,
it's very ego driven.
Yeah, very ego driven. Not in a negative way of like, oh, we are better, but just very much, I need to make it. It's
you
only
have to look good. You have to be performing your best. You have to stand out.
Yep, it's all very I and self. When you have children, it takes away that, and that's the most beautiful thing. And I think that's the next step to faith as well, because then when you understand that it's not about you, it really allows you to then take that next step to faith and understanding, oh, again, it's really not about you. And
100%.
The freedom that comes from that is so profound. And just having something bigger than yourself to work towards and to work for is the greatest motivation you could ever ask for.
So let's talk about your faith. I'm really grateful that you're really open about it on the internet. It's something I've not approached yet, because again, it's the fear of people's perceptions. Even I'm just on my own journey. It's something I do. Was it how you were raised, or is it something you found later in life, and how did you come to that?
I just love this because I do a lot of podcasts. I don't even
a lot of testimonies.
I've got a lot. I've been doing this a long time. No, not even. But just it's just usually like the upbringing. But I don't get to talk about the stuff that where I am right in this moment. So I love this. So I'll start by saying no. I was absolutely not brought up religious. If you spoke God where I grew up, you'd have been hit by stones, I reckon. Like, it was very, I mean, we I think as a general, Scottish schools in our generation, you always would sing the hymns, and I did always love, if I look back, I was like, nah, I was feeling it back then, and
but actually, we were never given any context.
No context, but loving the
life,
songs in that assembly.
We always enjoyed the worship.
Yeah, right, always. And I think about that a lot now, and I think that really was imprinting in me. Was that the reason I had the strength to get through all the really hard times? Was that something, saying the Lord's Prayer every morning in school, standing up, I had no idea what I'm saying and why I'm saying it, and don't even care.
You just didn't realise who you were giving it to, but all that time
it was happening every day. Grew up. I mean, the only religion that you know was like Rangers and Celtic as well. Like, that was like your level of religion in Glasgow. So absolutely not. Obviously, during my adult life, I went on the spiritual journey, New Age spirituality. I went and tried to heal myself, and I went on a plant medicine journey, and I tried every single...
It had me as well.
Yeah.
We've been on the same life path.
Right, it had me, and I really believed in it, and I really thought this was it. And it was just that, like, my soul was searching, and I needed answers, and I needed... And in a way, I'm so great. I mean, I'm absolutely so grateful for it, because I think without the experiences, would I be...
You wouldn't have
as
the
deep
clarity
in my
you have now.
faith
No.
now. And would I be able to understand the reality of this, like the spiritual warfare and some of the New Age experiences that I had, and the realisation of how real this is, and
See, for the listeners, do you want to just give us a bit of context to what you mean when you say spiritual warfare?
So I do believe that we're in a spiritual battle right now. I think what is going on in the world isn't about religion, isn't about race, it isn't about gender, it isn't about any of the things. It's genuinely good and evil. And when you start to, I'm going to say, understand the Bible, not that I do yet, but when you open yourself up to faith and you realise this is all been in this book for all of this time, and God is real and Satan is real, and the world that we live in is built on like Satan's rules. It's designed to keep us consumers, it's designed to over-sexualise, it's designed to get us addicted, it's designed, and that is not what God created. So without understanding that, you wouldn't realise we're in a spiritual warfare. You wouldn't realise that actually that stuff that my algorithm is feeding me is trying to spiritually pull me away from truth, or you wouldn't realise the actions that are normal are pulling me away from truth, because that's normal. Actually, the other side is what's weird, because it's so abnormal.
And the more you pull yourself back from it, the more I started noticing it in everything. Satanic rituals on Beyonce's concert. It's everywhere.
I'm so happy to be having this conversation, because this is my life right now. And people... My husband, for instance, it's like, oh, Chloe, it's not everything. And I'm like, but it is.
It is everywhere.
And it is really important right now. And I think what's really good for me and important for me right now is I was in the music industry.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that. And I also understand that being in it, you don't think you're in anything.
I know.
You don't see any of that. It's just exactly what it says in the tin.
And I saw something you posted the other day about Zara Larsson commenting on something.
Yep.
And if you could tell us a bit about that.
It's just like it's a big story right now. And like I said, I worked for Zara Larsson many times, and she was a lovely girl right at the beginning of her career. And, she did a video for me when I was running a marathon. She was so super sweet. So there is no disrespect in any regard to her. But I've watched in the last couple of months of how her career's really... ignited, and from what we know right now and how this works, it's like I can see the signs. So I'm watching closely of, okay, you're at the Grammys, you've got this new brand and you're over-sexualized. I mean, if I was a dancer in that time, I'd be like, yes, I look hot. Look at me. I'm on this tour of America. Like, go me. And the dancing is amazing and all of the things.
And what are those people sacrificing in order to get there? And do you know what's funny? 5 years ago, we were the tinfoil hat people for saying it. We were the crazy, crazy people. What do you mean that Beyonce and Jay-Z are running some sort of satanic cult where you have to sacrifice X, Y, and Z to get the level of fame? Like, everyone said, you're crazy. 5 years ago, when we were sharing TikToks, I don't know if you were, I certainly was, about it being a lot of satanic rituals on the stage, on the bigger platform. We were the crazy ones. And the world isn't angry enough, actually. I'm like, is everyone awake? Like...
I find it really difficult right now. Think about every single thing in culture that's happened, whether it's like gender wars, whether it was Black Lives Matter, whether it was whatever. We got enough gusto behind us to go out and march for these things, and rightly so. There's much reason to do so. It's not that. But crickets, where is the march now for the children? That we're understanding that these children have been victim to, surely this is a moment where we realise, wait, it was never about that. This was the design. The design was exactly this, to divide and conquer, make it about gender, make it about race, make it about
distraction.
When actually right now we've got the evidence that we need to go, oh wait, we can all come together, and it's us against something so much bigger.
Do you not think it's difficult that figures like Trump co-opt God into their story, though?
Oh my God, I'm struggling so bad with
That's
that.
really confusing for me, and I would like, as someone who is also relatively new to faith, tell me how you cope with that, with your Erica Kirks and everyone.
Oh my God, I'm so involved.
How do we cope? I am. How do we cope?
Every night.
I'm Team Candace, but
me
it's
too.
fine.
Me too.
We're on the same algorithm, Queen. It's fine.
Oh my God, I'm Queen Candace. And even that, there's still some, is it controlled opposition? But what I just like to take is the facts and the evidence and what she provides for me in this context. To the full receipts. And the whole Charlie Kirk, Erica Kirk, like the using of faith is really...
It really bothers me.
It's really... Well, it bothered me to begin, right? But it also is just the awakening that I needed, because I came into Christianity like every Christian must be good.
Oh my goodness, same. I'm glad we had the same experience, because same. And then I thought, I'm sort of inferior. I need to work harder to be better because everyone in this room is good. There's bad in every pocket, sadly, of the world.
This is back to the point.
Yeah.
It's good and evil. Everything is infiltrated. Yeah. Not everybody in the music industry is bad. Not every Christian is bad. Not every Muslim is bad. Not every transgender person is bad and part of an agenda. It's just simply good and evil. Yeah. So that really brings me to the faith thing. And I brought this up at my church about the Erica Kirk thing. I was like, do you think that's really interesting and something that we should talk about? Because the infiltration actually of Christianity on the world stage is surely important. And, the feedback was, I don't think it's for us to to speak about
police
that, because it's like that's God's work. But I feel like God is saying different, because we should be aware of that, because there's no believers then, or people who don't yet believe, that will look on and go, well, why would I believe that?
And I think that yourself and myself, people who are new to come into Christianity, have been on both sides, so can understand that maybe that's that person's only view of what it is to be a Christian. So you're like, oh God, I don't want them just seeing
why
that.
Would I be a Christian if there's like so much child trafficking within that
darkness?
Like why that means obviously it's all a lie. But what it's done is bring me closer and really simplified this whole thing for me. It's just, I wouldn't even say I'm religious. I have a growing relationship with Jesus. He is my Lord and Saviour. I got baptised, and even saying these words, like earlier, you said until this
podcast, I've never said any of this out loud.
Wow.
My closest and nearest and dearest know about it all.
Wow.
And I'm the same. I'm on my own personal walk with Jesus, but I wouldn't say I'm religious. A bit like yourself.
Me too.
I think it's a great environment for the wee one. I don't know about you. How do you feel raising your kids?
Oh, I'm so grateful. Good. I'm so grateful for being, specifically coming from the whole New Age. I am so grateful as a parent, like the foundations as a parent. Take away the whole Christianity thing, take away what's presented to us, and just the foundation that you can build for your family
the
and
morals,
your children.
The outlook.
100%.
I
am beyond grateful. But the thing of even sharing this, like when I got baptised, I was like, I probably won't share that part of my journey right now.
I mean, mine is on YouTube, but I've never shown anyone. It is actually there.
Okay.
It'd be one of those things that comes out further down the line, and I'm like, yeah, woo, shock horror, it's no big deal.
And I thought that as well. I probably won't talk about this. It won't be. And then there was like a natural process for me that began that, wait, no, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me, and
I ain't going to gatekeep it.
I need to get over my fears of judgment and my fear of what I thought this was. A lot of the fear came from that.
Yes,
how I would have judged it.
It's internalised judgment. It really is. I feel that myself.
It is.
I give myself the ick on a lot of different things, and it's absolutely coming from my preconceptions of what that looked like to me.
Yeah, and it was so free. I then just posted my baptism video, and it was so crazy, because the week before I was like, I won't share this, and then
and it's just coming out here.
And now I'm like, and now where my mind is and what I'm wanting to build going forward is exactly that. I want to create a movement, a ministry of using music, and I want to basically be a Christian house DJ. That's my thing. I've made my own track. We were in the studio yesterday recording it, and
too cool.
Yeah, I'm like, I think there's
This journey was meant to find you then, all of it, not just your faith.
A substract of people that just won't resonate with what's been given right now. And I don't want to ever take it away from the truth and how pure it has to be, but I think there's a way we can capture an audience that are not yet believers.
You need to make it more accessible.
And
when I was trying to understand the Bible, I found this podcast, I can't remember what it's called, and it's literally like girls having a wee WhatsApp voice notes. I can't remember what it's called.
Girls Gone Bible?
That's it.
Yeah.
And so if I can listen to that, it's like, la, la, la. It's not to say, like you say, take away the purity or anything of it. It's just to make it more accessible, because we're in 2026.
Unveiling of
stories, important like, stories.
Yeah, and the more you unveil, the more then the truth of it starts to flow through you. 100%. So the more that's actually in the Bible, like the more is revealed. So I'm on this real. I want to be a missionary. I want to be in service of God. I want to share the good news. I want people to be saved in the way that I have. I have a couple of really specific stories that I would love to share, because how did I get here? How did I have these realizations? First was during my first ever ultramarathon. I'll keep it really brief, but I
love that we hadn't. Sorry, she's ran ultramarathons. I love that we hadn't mentioned that yet.
That's boring like stuff right now. But on the first day, my very first ultramarathon, I was like a novice. I had never done this. I didn't even know how to walk the watch. Somebody gave me a watch at the start line. I had no navigation.
Like, this is a big deal, Queen. You're like, what? I'll just run for a bit.
When I was like at the thing, I was like, I do not fit in here. I genuinely felt like I am literally from Govan, and this is not my scene. I just felt so out of my depth, and like I said, I was really scared of like running in the mountains myself and getting lost and all these things. The flags that direct you are like this size, and you're not on paths. You're literally in uncharted territory. It's like super dangerous. Anyway, I fell down a ditch of moss, and it went up to like my hip bone on the first day. It was like a 2-day race, around 30 kilometres. Pulled my leg out. I had like a severe ankle injury. Finished that day like 75 kilometres. Was struggling to walk. You sleep in a tent with 10 people in the freezing cold. Woke up in the morning and physically could not go and brush my teeth. But I had 50 kilometres to run that day, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't do this. But it was my first ever race. I didn't want to give up. It was this whole ego battle. Get to the start line, I'm like, I had met this old guy who was like 70, who was like teaching me the day before.
He was just doing the run at that age.
Telling me all his stories. They were amazing. They were giving me all the tips, like the poles, right? He's like, darling, that's not how you use the poles. I'm like, right. He's like teaching me how to use them on the run. It was so sweet.
You're like me, you had all the gear and no idea. Story of my life.
Oh my God, story of my life. Story of my life. But how good? How good? How many opportunities would you miss if you feel like you have to know and be perfect and figure it all out?
Loads. And as someone who, until like I say, I had my daughter, and then I was like, what are you doing? And then I'd always wanted to go to Glasgow Uni, for example, but I left school with not many grades, and I always just thought, well, that's not for me. But was breastfeeding, taking my National 5 maths class with a bunch of folk that didn't want to be there to get into the uni. Now they're my peers, and I'm looking around like, you work to be here, and you're here, and you're going to graduate from here, and that's all possible. But you have to. It is in there. I truly believe anyone can do anything.
Oh my God,
I really do. If you said to me tomorrow, I'm going to be a doctor, I would say, that's amazing. When do you start? You might have to go right back to like, I don't know, like I did a night class at college where nobody wants to be there, and get your National 5 maths, like the very, very basic.
You can do it.
But there's always a path.
Yeah.
Always.
And this is where like faith in God and supernatural really, so in this ultramarathon, I'm on my spiritual journey, so I'm definitely open-minded, but certainly like saying the word God felt uncomfortable for me. So on day 2, I wake up, I can't walk. The medics say, we don't suggest that you run, it's a bad idea. 10K, and I started to really, really struggle. Bearing in mind, I was the girl at Urdang who would danced on a broken elbow and stuff. Like I was like, had the stookie and was like doing the full performance.
Popping and looking with
so
a
like
stookie.
I was just like, you know, I could push through anything. So this was really new territory for me. So I start like calling out please, if there's a God, help me. I'm like screaming, because I'm in the middle of nowhere. I need to get to somewhere because I can't walk. People are saying, do you want us to lift you? And I'm just like, I hate everyone right now. Get away from me. And I'm just so upset because I'm like, I'm not going to be able to finish this. This is... Anyway, you don't have your phone, you don't have signal, and you don't listen to stuff on ultramarathons. It's not like you're running and you have like music or anything.
That is such a
silence.
test.
Yeah,
that
it's crazy. So it's like, pull out... I'm getting this like direction, like pull out your phone. I pull out my phone. I have this like David Goggins thing downloaded. I've never listened to this, and I press play, and he literally starts by saying he's on a race, he's injured his left ankle, same as me, and the medics are telling him to stop. The whole thing is exactly my situation. The medics tell him to stop, but he's different. He's a 1%, and I'm like, okay, this is me. I'm a 1%.
That's your sign.
I'm like, this is it, right? Okay. And obviously it boosted my morale, but the reality was I still couldn't walk. So I was like, no, God, please, like, if there's a God. I was like, sun, trees, like any energy. And this voice says, like, say your daughter's name.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, I'm losing my mind. I'm actually losing my mind.
I'm hallucinating now.
I'm hallucinating. Yeah, it was really that. So I'm like, and I'm like embarrassed, and it's like, no, like, say the name. And I'm like, I've never had these experiences before, by the way. So I'm like, so then I'm like, oh, there's no one here, like, get a grip, let go. And I'm like, right, okay, getting right into it, like, so, and it's like, starts like
chanting almost.
Yeah, chanting, and almost like this energy takes over my body. And when I say I went from dragging the leg to now I'm running, like, with energy, like, no feeling, like, numb. My whole body is numb. I'm like floating, like it's not me, and I'm recognising this is not me right now. I'm running past the people that were saying, do you want me to lift you? They're looking. I've not stopped saying so, by the way. I'm running past these people shouting, so like I'm like a nut job.
Yeah.
I'm an actual nut job, and I finished that race.
Wow.
And that was the moment where I realised the reality of the supernatural. I also knew the reality of the supernatural from plant medicine experiences, and you know, I've experienced what the reality of life actually
outside yourself,
is.
higher
Yes.
than yourself. Yeah.
So I had that awareness, but that was very specific. Again, that didn't then lead me to God or church or any of the things. I was just like, wow, I had a supernatural experience.
100%.
I really, that's given me like miracle in the Bible vibes.
Yeah.
The person can't walk, Jesus comes and they can walk.
That is amazing. That is like the purest testimony, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Amazing.
But again, that didn't bring me to God, but it certainly was starting to like lay the seeds. And then over the years, in the spiritual community and these experiences, I started to realise there was a lot of darkness in that. And it wasn't all, again, like the Christianity thing, everyone's an amazing person. We're all on this journey and we all want good.
It's funny because I've definitely had these black and white experiences as well. Like when I started to sort of turn to New Age treatments, Reiki, things like that, I used to think everybody's a healer, everybody means well, but you're right, there's good and bad in all.
And what a great place. You're vulnerable people who are wanting healing, who are searching, coming in, they're opening themselves up to anything being able to come in. And this whole thing of like demons, and it's real entities, it's so beyond real. If you're watching this thinking she's crazy, then absolutely wrong conversation. But
just
like,
look at your Doja Cats to see how crazy the world has gone.
Like it is beyond I mean, they've showed you the files. They've literally shown you.
That's what I don't understand, is we are looking at it, and you're right, it's crickets. And I'm like, am I alone here? It's the strangest experience.
And that's the point, though. That's the whole
evil
point of karma.
Evil, it's hidden in plain sight.
Yeah, they have to tell you. They literally, part of their karma process is they have to tell you in plain sight what is going on, and we just accept. It's the same thing with my whole experience right now with another part of my testimony. I actually had been baptised by this point, but I had my first daughter. I had quite a complicated birth. I had the epidural. I had the trauma of the forceps. It was a whole thing.
Same. Epidural, forceps, episiotomy. We probably had the same process.
Horrific. And I thought that's just the way it had to be. That's just was my experience. I got a buff coach on my second child and realised that that's not normal, and this is part of a process, and that's part of a system, and buff is an industry and it's a money thing.
It's all been medicalised.
And that's a tick sheet of they want to get you in these things because the money, anyway, I won't go down too far on that, but the point is I started to realise that I need to learn about buff, and I need to learn about this industry, and I need to do this differently. So I had a home buff. I decided to have a home buff.
See, after all that with Soul, that is a huge, brave decision. Like, really is.
And
really
I
is.
did. I felt very called that I want to experience a natural buff.
Almost reclaim it, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like I can't, when people say, did you have a natural birth? I'm like, no.
And
I don't call it that because it wasn't.
You get that. And,
millions of interventions.
And that's the thing. And even when you come forward with wanting to have a home birth, there's so many hoops that you have to jump through. And then I got told halfway through my pregnancy, so I had got the bath, and convinced my husband, went to the movie, went to the cinema to watch this movie, got him on board. It was so scary because I never deemed myself someone who would ever have a home birth. That wasn't really on my cards. And after having Soul, I was like, I will go straight in there and be asking for an epidural right away. That was my mindset after my first. But again, faith, I think, played a huge part of this. And I knew that was part of God's purpose for us as women, to be able to have the ability to do that naturally. Like, of course,
I do believe you wouldn't be able to carry and bear if you weren't able to, birth.
Of course,
like,
yourself. People were doing this in fields, so I was very set on this. And then halfway through, I got a call from one of the top surgeon people saying, we've just had some results back. You basically can't have your home birth now because you've got this strep B thing. So when the baby comes out, there's this risk of all of these risks. Tell me all why. So she was like, you've got 3 options. You can either
even that in itself, sorry to interrupt, you've got 3 options.
Yeah, you've got 3 options, and
you're like, sorry, it's my body. In what other part of life do we get that autonomy stripped away from us and told we have options?
And there's so much fear. Like, what does Chloe know?
Yeah.
This professional is telling you who does know. How can you then have a different outlook and come up with anything different? But because I was working with this birth coach, who's incredible, by the way, her name's Kemi on Instagram, and she is phenomenal. She was a midwife, so she has all the ability to tell you, like a lot of these people say, you should be medically trained. No, this woman was a midwife and now is on touring the world talking about this stuff because she saw behind the scenes.
Sorry to interrupt, I didn't end up having a home birth, but I also had support from a local charity who are called AMA, who I'm not sure if you've heard of.
No.
They're an incredible team of women who advocate for women who would like to go against the system. So what they do is they'll provide...
I think I might have heard of them.
They'll provide doulas and whatever. I didn't pay for any of these services. These women came and helped me out.
Wow.
They advocated for me at appointments. They took notes. They took me outside to give me alternative options to push back on the medical. So I think it's really important as well that people know that these services are out there. If not to have a home birth, just to actually have the information and understand what the process is, right?
I didn't know there was it's like even
you don't know you have an option.
It's so naive to even say that. Like, I didn't know there was information. I didn't know that I had to really do my own research, because it's just basically
that's the way it always
your
was.
option. That's your option.
Yeah.
So anyway, I did all this research and she gave me the options. None of the options was a home birth, by the way. It was like, come into hospital, get antibiotics while you're giving birth. I was like, no antibiotics is going in my baby's body. No vaccines are going in my baby's body. I have learned enough now over these last couple of months.
And were you scared?
Terrified. Terrified.
So that's normal. It's not like you were going, everything's going to be fine.
Oh my God, terrified. Thinking so much guilt. I'm making the wrong decision. Is this bad? Anyway, fast forward, I have the home birth in my house, and genuinely, again, it was all God. Like, I prayed through that thing. I didn't have any gas in air. I had nothing. And I saw the white light. Like, I'm being so serious. I saw the white light that they talk about. Like, I genuinely feel like Jesus came, and I knew my baby was coming down that white light in that moment. I knew he was coming down, and they were saying, baby's not coming, we're going to have to take you to hospital. They were like interrupting like the flow, and I'm like, no. Like, I just knew. I knew what was happening. And every time like I stopped praying, the pain became so unbearable. And then it would be like back to praying, and I prayed through that full thing. And like the running with the ankle, that pain was given to something bigger than me. And my body was able to like endure what it was going through. And again, that was just another reckoning of we actually don't need to do all this ourselves. And that just further solidifies my walk with faith, and why it's so profound and so beautiful, because the New Age world is, I can heal myself. I am the creator of my reality. I have to do it all alone. Whereas what walking with faith in God and Jesus does is, I can give this all away.
It externalizes it. It actually is a big relief, because it goes...
Big relief.
When I'm on Instagram, I kind of talk about it as the universe, God, whoever you like to give it to, so that I'm not kind of... alienating anyone.
Yeah, of course.
But I think that every single person can agree that there is more than us. It would be crazy to imagine there isn't.
Honestly, if you, in the time that we're living in and what's being presented right now, like at that event we were at, and when I was speaking about being prepared for things like the grid going down, like these are imminent things that we're about to endure. And people
laugh.
The crowd was laughing, and it was like, oh, come on. And
I do as well. It's kind of a nervous laughter though, because I think deep down I know you're right. And
of course, and I totally get it. And it's like, is it too much? But the reality is, if you just open your eyes and look at the right information, it would be silly not to be. Let's hope it doesn't. Yes, please be right. Please, all the laughing people, be right, because I really feel that I'm getting to a point in my life now where things are starting to go in the right direction.
Yeah.
The last thing I need is a cyber attack.
To go and hide in a bunker, please, no. And all the advertising be cut off.
Yeah, right. Like I'm getting to the point where things are going
like, it's
good.
all working out. This sort of thing happens to me all the time. Like,
it's
my
like,
cat. It's a rogue story, but my cat had to have her leg amputated a few weeks ago, and my closest friends were like, "Of course, Mandy, you couldn't just. Of course, you have a 3-legged cat. Of course, these things just seem to happen to me. Nobody, unless you're in my life, you wouldn't believe the stuff that happens to me."
And that's what brings you so close to faith, because without having the experiences and being able to like get through and navigate, and how do you strengthen?
I shouldn't still be alive. If you heard about my 20s, you'd be like,
wow.
What? And very quickly before we finish up, I'll give you something for me that made me realise that there's more to this life than me. And I shared it on my Instagram this morning. But if you've not seen it, I will say that towards the end of 2020, like I really, really, really struggled with the lockdown. Like I was living alone. I was not in a stable job. The work I was doing, I didn't enjoy. It got to December that year, and I just got down on my knees and prayed. Like at the end of my bed, I prayed for a change. I said, I can't live like this anymore. I need a change. Show me somehow, like yourself, show me a sign that things are going to get better, that this is worth staying for. And 3 weeks later, pregnant. Wow. And for some reason, it was the worst circumstances. Like, I barely knew her dad.
Wow.
I was in a 1-bed flat that the landlord was selling, so I had nowhere to live. There was so many things that meant that if you were looking at that on paper, you'd go, do not proceed with the pregnancy.
Yep.
And I have terminated a pregnancy before, so it's not that was keeping me from anything. It's not that that's the issue.
Yep.
But I just knew that was the thing.
That was the same.
And it's so funny, because she has been the catalyst for every other decision in my life. It's why I'm sitting here today. It's why I go to Glasgow University. It's why I do all these things, because that one change. So it doesn't always show up, does it, in the way you expect?
Oh, it certainly doesn't.
If you just thought I had to go, I was the least maternal person you could imagine either.
Wow.
I hadn't even held a baby. I wasn't. Wow. And now, like, I breastfed her till she was 3. Like, I love babies.
Yeah, and that's why I'm so, again, like, culture and this pushing of becoming a CEO, becoming a girl
we still
boss.
Co-sleep, me and the girl.
The best thing ever.
She's big and we're like...
I'm like in the middle, and I've got my 2 kids at each side. My husband's in another room right now, and it is the most amazing. Oh my God, I swear. The only hard bit is like, who do you choose?
Yeah, that's right.
I feel
that's
like I'm
right.
like one.
That's
and
right.
I'm like,
that's right.
And I keep choosing, but it's the greatest thing that you could, and that's what culture is pushing us away from. The thing where the whole contraception thing, they don't want us to be able to have children. That's part of the plan. The food, people can't conceive. The IVF thing, everything is designed in order for us to be pushed to not do what God's plan and will is. And that's why culture I really struggle with the pushing on young people of, you want to have your career, like climb the corporate ladder, become successful, be a girl boss. You can create your own
But the
destiny.
chase doesn't lead anywhere.
empty.
It's empty. It's an empty chase.
That's what I always talk about, becoming a professional dancer. I thought, if I make it, because I've always been told you'll never make it. Now I'm on stage with the biggest artists in the world. Like, everything should be good now.
And it's still not
it
full.
was empty, and that was the awakening process, the realisation. None of this stuff can fulfil you. The money, the success, the fame, it is all empty. The only thing that can bring you that peace is the truth.
Yeah.
Is the truth, is being in service, is being a good person, is living as sinlessly as possible, meaning using keeping your body as clean, your vessel clean, putting the right things in your body, not giving yourself away to alcohol, not putting this junk processed food in your body, not giving yourself away to lust and sex and desire and the whole OnlyFans. All of it is designed in order to keep you small, yet we are pouring in abundance. We're pouring. That's why I've not got myself to TikTok yet. I'm on TikTok because I had a guy who was putting all my videos from Instagram on there, but I don't ever click on it because I just know, again, that is it's all designed to capture our attention and to stray us away, but it also does so much good because we can have these really powerful conversations. But I do think the only way is that way, and that is the truth. Becoming as purified as possible and growing closer to our Creator. Because right now we are splitting. It's a new world that we're living in. This is not the same as 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. We are entering a new time. This is uncharted territory for everyone. We don't have anything to look back on. I mean, we do have, we can look back at, you can, what is it they say, history doesn't, it rhymes. It's not the same, but it rhymes. There's some saying. I'm sure the internet is going to love that. But
you just cut it out. That's the beauty of this.
Oh well. But it's like, we don't have, this is so new. What we're about, this whole 2030 agenda is real. Like, people need to.
Just 1 minute left. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I want to talk for hours and hours. We'll do a coffee.
Yeah, we will.
That's not with cameras.
But I think it is really important to look at what 2030 agenda is, because this one world government, this like digital ID, this the monetary system changing, these things are happening right now. This isn't conspiracy. This is, go on the internet and look at the government website. They tell you everything that's coming. So if you are still in the thing of being so disassociated
I'm not
with that,
political, etc.
Yeah, it's like you need to, and the only way I genuinely believe to survive any of this is faith. Because if you don't have your trust in something greater, you're not figuring that out. And also, you can't see then. Because this is what this journey is teaching me. The more you submit and give yourself, and the more you surrender to this, the more that is revealed. It's almost like, of course you don't get the Bible at the beginning. Of course you don't understand. I struggled so much to detach from the New Age thing. How can yoga be bad? How can these things that have helped me over... How can ayahuasca be bad? Like, that changed my life. That allowed me to go to the parts of my trauma and release, so I thought. And it did. And purify my body in a way and not want to put these things... How can that be bad? It's not necessarily that is bad, because that was given. It's what you're opening yourself up to and what you can let in and doing these processes. So all I would say to people is, if you're like us and didn't understand this, and I felt so disassociated and weird even saying the word God and Jesus, like, it was really, really difficult for me to even accept that that's the path that I was going on. If you are like us in that, just know that when you are willing to just trust and willing to be open-minded and willing to just know that this world is changing fast, and the only way that you can navigate and hopefully survive through it is by having that awareness and by having that faith. And we do need to be prepared, and it is serious, and you need to know that everything is going to change in the coming years, and AI and all of these different every component, the compression is like so real, and I'm excited for it. Like, get me to the farm with 20 people who families like me, and let's go back to living.
Bring it on, yeah.
Living simple lives. Let's have no social media. Let's have the present moment. Let's go and grow our food. Let's have animals. Like, that's where I'm heading, and that's what I'm working towards right now. So,
listen, Chloe,
crossed.
I feel like we never talked about half the things we intended to talk about, but it's been an amazing episode,
you.
and I think that we've really shared some important things today. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.